Welcome to the Winning in Business podcast. I'm your host, Kelli Rissy, and I love talking to business professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs who are winning in business. Are you ready to reach your next level of success? If so, join us on the Winning in Business podcast as I interview entrepreneurs, business professionals, and leaders who share how they've risen to success. Before we begin, go ahead, hit subscribe and the notification button so you'll be notified each time a new episode is released. Plug in and settle in. You're about to be inspired to rise up to your next level of success. Hi, welcome back to the Winning in Business podcast. My name is Kelli Rissy and I'm the host. And if you're a first-time guest, welcome. Usually I am here interviewing someone who is winning in business. Today, however, I am here by myself and I'm super excited because today I'm actually going to talk about my expertise, which is stress management. So if you are someone who wants to know a little bit more about how to move through stress gracefully, then keep on listening. So for those of you who don't know me, I have been a business owner since 2018. I left a job that was actually stressful and I was on the verge of burnout. At one point in time, I ended up in the hospital due to stress and decided that I needed to change. I was somebody who was the high performer, high achiever, and I say was. I still am. I just approach it a little bit differently now. I know better, so I do better. And at that time, I was the over everything. I was over exercising. I was over committing. I was over. And it really took a toll on me. And at one point, I ended up in adrenal fatigue and really had to heal that. And so I've learned so much about stress along the way and how to heal my body, how to help myself. I worked with some great a functional medicine doctor along the way who has really helped me. And I also have done a lot of mindset work, which we're going to talk about today, to help me really look at some of the beliefs that I was carrying around that were self-induced stress, I'm going to say. So that's the topic today, is all about stress. And I've been through it. And as you know, stress is never going away. So please, if anyone promises you that, oh, you'll live stress-free forever, well, it's not going to happen. However, you can learn how to move through stress better. You can help your nervous system adjust to stress better so that you truly are intentional about how you're responding to stress. So that's kind of the topic we're diving into today. So why stress? So from a personal standpoint of stress, individually, right? Stress affects your health. Stress affects your relationships, right? If we go back to health, I mean, if you look at doctor visits, it's higher than that. It's like 90 something % of doctor visits were due to stress. If you look at the, number one diseases, causes of like hospital visits, it's related to stress. And stress is always part of it. Heart disease, stress is related to that. Cancer, stress is related to that. Accidents, suicide, stress is all related to that. Liver disease, it's all the big ones, the major ones that we deal with as Americans. Stress is directly related to all of that. So that's why we really need to, make sure that we're healthy and well. Okay, so then we move on to relationships. I don't know about you, but when I am stressed, I am either in my own bubble, don't talk to me, like I want to be left alone, or I am snappy. right? Like I could bite somebody's head off. And that is not the way that I want to be. It's certainly not the way I want to be around my family. And it's also not the way I want to be around anyone that, I own my own business, but if I'm out in the community with other fellow business owners, I don't want to be that way around them. I don't want to be that way to servers when I'm at a restaurant. They don't deserve me snapping at them because I'm stressed. Negative energy put out into the world is negative, yucky energy. So, that's a why we want to address stress. And then, if we look at if you happen to be in a company, a corporation, or even a small business, that you have teams, employees, whatever, you're looking at what if your people are stressed, what's your turnover rate? Because right now, employee turnover rate is extremely high. Employee engagement rate is extremely low. We know the whole thing about quiet quitting, right? Like that's the latest term. There's not enough people in the workforce. So quite frankly, you can't afford to have the people that are working for you to be stressed because you need them. You can't afford for them to leave. And then all of the stress of you and your people, all of that affects your profits. And, if you go back and look at yourself individually, like, is that affecting your income as well? Because if you're stressed, are you not willing to, move up the ladder of success, as we want to call it? So, stress plays into so many things, which is really why we need to address it. It is so important to address the mess of stress. All right. Burnout, mental and emotional exhaustion, physical exhaustion. So those are some of the tolls that it takes on our body. But let's look at some of the what's about stress, right? Stress can come from the unknowns, the uncertainty, the lack of control, whether that be in family, career, or your finances, right? We can throw health in there also. So if there's uncertainty, unknowns, or lack of control in any of those, that is when our stress level starts to creep up and gets high. Stress can come from demands of the family, demands of a relationship, demands at work, job expectations, can come from overscheduling, too much to do and too little time. It can come from distractions. You might actually have enough time to do everything that you plan to do, but depending on how many distractions get in the way, that can be stressful as well. So there's and expectations, as I said. And then also, the biggest thing that I like to look at is the personalities that we all bring into this world that can also cause stress, which is a whole communication piece, right? Of, do we know how to communicate with other people effectively, or is it causing us stress? And maybe it's not even, well, I am going to say communicating, because there's also nonverbal communication. So it's not only verbal communication, it's nonverbal communication. Do you just know how to be in the same room with people who are different from you? And so, that's a big one. So let's look at, take inventory. On a scale of 1 to 10, where is your stress level? On average. And I want you to really think about that. There is good stress, and then there is chronic stress. And I used this example the other day. I did a live, and it was the example of a rope. And a rope by itself has no stress on it. It's just a rope laying there. But a rope, if you put a rope, let's say you attach a rope to a truck, and you're pulling something that is entirely too heavy for that rope, right? And so it can't, you know what I mean? It can't pull it. And the next thing you know, the rope is like fraying and there's a crack down it. And, you know, that is what chronic stress feels like. The rope is cracking, the rope is breaking. Then there's also, you know, the rope can pull something with ease. That is when stress is fine. That's when you're in the flow of things. That's when stress can be okay, right? You know, that's when, you know, you're getting ready to do a big project and you're excited about it. And yet, you know, there's expectations there, but yet that can still be a good kind of stress. But what we want to look at is the stress that is causing the problems. So you have your number on a scale of 1 to 10, where's, you know, where are you in general? That's something to really look at. And if you are in general a 7 or above, then it's time to start addressing your stress. Like it's time to really be intentional about it. Also, where does stress show up for you? How does stress show up for you? Where does it show up in your body? For example, for me, I'm someone that carries my stress kind of right in my shoulders and the back, like the bottom, the base of my neck into my shoulders. And I know when there's stress because that like starts screaming at me. Sometimes it moves down into my lower back. And I specifically know, like, I know I'm very in tune with my body and know pretty much what my stressors can be from as well, specifically a specific stress and where it shows up. People get tension headaches, so it can show up, you know, as a headache. It can show up in your digestive system. Stress is a big one for that. So any signal, any disease, any issue that your body is having is a signal to you. This is how we use our body to our advantage because it's a signal. It's telling you something and it's telling you that something needs to change. Okay. So if I'm sitting here and the base of my neck and my shoulders are screaming at me like tense, 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 I can use stress to my advantage and I can go, hello, like something needs to change. Are you aware what's going on right now? And maybe I need a break. Maybe I've been sitting too long. Maybe I need to get up. Maybe I need to roll my shoulders back, right? What is it that I need to do? It is a sign for me. The other way we can look at stress is how is it showing up for us in our, like what I'm going to say, like personality, right? So are you someone that isolates himself? Are you someone, like I said, that gets snappy? Do you snap at people? Like, how is it showing up for you in that way? And are you really cluing in to when you're acting that way of like, oh, I probably need to reevaluate the way I'm living, what's going on. I need to look at things and do it differently. So there's many different ways that we can use the stress that's going on in our lives as an advantage, because we can start like really noticing it and going, something needs to change. This is a big signal for me. All right. So that's like number one. The way to move through stress is, first of all, be aware of it. Like awareness is always the key to everything. Number one, awareness. All right. Number two is to start tuning into your breath. We can use our breath to help us. We can use our breath to help us relax. You know, if we relax, just relax our shoulders and start really tuning into the quality of our breath and start taking deeper breaths. And we can literally do this in 30 seconds. It does not need to take long. But when we just breathe deep and we breathe in opportunity, we breathe in gratitude, we breathe in strength, wisdom, peace, joy, and we exhale negativity, obstacles, worry, fear, all the junk. Inhale all the goodness and exhale all the junk. If you take breaths like that and you do that 5 times, it can make a huge difference. You are tapping back into your parasympathetic system so that it knows you are safe, you are okay, life is good. Something that I teach my clients how to do is literally use their breath to help clear space in their body. which is really cool when you know how to do that. So, just use your breath. All right. Number 2, know how to manage your energy. Y'all, we need to make sure that we have enough energy to last from the time we get up until the time that we go to bed. And, I know people love caffeine, right? And at the same time, if you are somebody that's running on caffeine all day long, and then you're needing wine and alcohol to like chill out in the evening so that you go to bed, that's a signal that really you probably need to address your stress and do something about it, because your energy is off. And my guess is it's from stress. So we need to look at that as well. But, are you managing your energy so that you have balanced energy throughout the day? Now, some of that can do with eating, definitely do with sleeping. We also know that stress can interfere with those things, right? If you're stressed and you're laying awake at night and can't fall asleep, if you're waking up in the middle of the night because you're stressed and like you're, bolting out of bed with things on your mind that you're stressed about, that's going to affect your energy throughout the day as well. So that is something that is very important about stress, is really learning how to manage your energy. The third one to be able to really move through stress is connecting and communicating. So connecting with others. I get it that sometimes when we're stressed, we do need to be by ourselves, but we are humans and we are meant for connections. And all the extroverts just shut me out. However, no, did I say extroverts? I meant introverts. All the introverts just shut me out. The extroverts are like, yes, let's connect. But introverts, yes, you need a time to definitely recharge. I mean, believe it or not, extroverts need a time to recharge too. However, there's an upside to connecting with others when you're stressed, because that connection can help decrease your stress. Communicating. The biggest thing is knowing how to communicate. So stress comes from not communicating well. Are you communicating your needs well? Are you using your voice to communicate what you need? Are you speaking clearly what you need? Are you asking clarifying questions? These are all things that make a difference in your stress level, because if you're somebody that's holding it all in and you're not expressing yourself, if you're not using your voice, and then somebody's doing something and you're just sitting there silently and whatever, and you're like stressed, you know what I mean? Then what about this is about you? Well, you're not using your voice. And so they don't even know that you're sitting over there stewing. So it's very much about communicating. And something that I can teach my clients is, we talk about how to communicate the right way with the right people, because we definitely know that there are different styles that people like to be communicated. So that's something that I teach, that then people know, and then it's so much easier to communicate with people. All right, next, be open. Are you someone that's open? Are you open to new things? Are you open to new ideas? Are you open to new opportunities? Sometimes we are stressed and new opportunities present itself, and yet we stay in our comfort zone. We stay in the stress because we're too scared. It's the fear that keeps us in the stress instead of moving into the new opportunity. And so that's something to think about for yourself. Are you open to new opportunities? Are you willing to take a risk, knowing that it could be great for you? Are you also willing to ask for help? Because I actually know a lot of people that aren't willing to ask for help. And then, I don't know, like no one can help you if you're not asking for help. And so then instead you have all this stress, you have pressure, things are coming down on you, you're all the expectations, and people could be helping you. And so then what's your belief about asking for help? That is something that you need to get super curious about. What is your belief about asking for help? What's your belief that you believe you have to do it all by yourself? When did you decide that that you had to be the superhero. When did you decide that? And is it still true? Because my guess is it's time to review that belief and update it. Number 5, schedule breaks, schedule fun time, schedule self-care, schedule your workouts, schedule healthy eating, schedule all the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. Because the more you take care of yourself, the better you can handle stress. You will be more resilient to stress because you have gotten a good night's sleep, because you have fueled your body correctly. Oh, and water. Don't forget about water. When you're drinking water, right? Then your cells are nourished. When you're exercising, your endorphins are released. Your body feels good. You're moving. You're releasing stress. So schedule that time and schedule fun. And don't forget to schedule your relaxation as well. Schedule some time where you're doing nothing. And if you have a problem with scheduling nothing, then you need to think about your belief around nothing. If you haven't heard me tell the story, I used to not be able to do nothing. It was the go, go, go. I very much grew up in the competitive world, and you were practicing and you were performing and you were, same thing through high school, and it was the competitive teams, and same thing through college. And it was always that. And then I took that into my workplace, and I did that until I ended up in adrenal fatigue, right? Then I had to really stop and recover, because my body made me stop and recover. And this is why I love helping people address their stress so they don't have to stop. Y'all, if you're a business owner, you don't have time to stop. So you need to learn how to do this and be intentional about it so it doesn't stop you in your tracks. Okay. If you are someone that's in corporate America, you also don't have time to stop. Yes, you have vacation days, but you really don't have time to stop. You have goals, you have dreams. And so we have to be intentional about it, about that resting. So I want you to also think, what are your beliefs around resting? So I used to not be able to go sit in the woods. My husband would want to take the boys 4-wheeling. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do sitting in the woods? Like, I can't do laundry in the woods. I can't go grocery shopping in the woods. I can't meal prep in the woods. What am I going to do? I just have to sit there in the woods. How am I going to sit in the woods? What am I going to do? It would cause me anxiety to go sit in the woods. And I had to really do some mindset work around that, like my mindset around rest. And you'll be happy to know that now I can rest. But that is part of it. Like, we have to be able to recover, especially those who are high achievers, which I feel like people are that are listening to this podcast. You are a high achiever. You need to know how to recover. You need to know how to rest. It has to be part of it. All right. 6, gratitude and giving. Whenever we get stressed, turn your thoughts around to all the things you are grateful for. We have so much to be grateful for. Y'all, we live in America. We need to be grateful. We have food. We have air conditioning. We have roofs over our head. We have, floors underneath us, carpeting, hardwood, whatever you have. We have opportunities. We have so many things to be grateful for. And so whenever the stress starts to come, stop and list off 10 things, people, whatever that is that you are grateful for. And always giving always makes you feel better also, whether it be giving of your time. And if you don't have time to give because you're stressed and time is an issue, then I don't recommend giving your time. But do you have resources that you can give? Do you have financial resources that you can give? Do you have clothes laying around your house that you can purge and get rid of that could go to another family that's in need? So there are lots of different ways that you can give. But when you do that, we know that can definitely relieve stress. And that goes back to the clutter piece. If you have things around your house that you feel like is causing you mental clutter, I feel like sometimes clutter, too much of something, right? Too many clothes, too many books, too many toys, too many things. It causes mental clutter. Like, you're always just looking at it and all the stuff. And so getting rid of that, right? Then you're doing something good for somebody else. And then that helps you relieve some of your stress because you just feel better. And then the last thing is going back and looking at, I've talked about this in a couple different ways, but we have to address the mindset. The mindset is the biggest thing that has to be addressed all the time. I can sit here and anyone can tell you all these things that you need to do. It's the mindset piece that goes with it of really if you'll do it or not. And so, challenging your beliefs about stress. Do you feel like chronic stress is okay? Like, hey, everybody's doing it. I got to do it. Like, this is just how we live. It's, I don't have a choice. Is that a belief? Like, you have to think about your beliefs around stress so that you can then address it in a way that you need to address it. And I just know that stress affects so many different things that it's worth addressing. It is worth being intentional about. It is worth doing mindset work around. It is worth getting emotions in check around. There's so many things and how it can improve your life when you truly are intentional and go, this has to be my focus. And I'm going to say that yoga, essential oils, sound therapy, all of those things are absolutely amazing. And they can also be Band-Aids, because if you stop going to them, have you addressed the problem? Or is the problem still there? Because that's the biggest thing. Use the Band-Aids as long as you're addressing it in the way that it really needs to be addressed so that it creates change. Because if the change doesn't happen and the Band-Aids are only there, then you're still living in stress. Now you just have a oil that smells good on you. Nothing against oils. I use them. You see what I'm saying though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to get deeper. It's got to be deeper. And that's why I always talk about the mindset, because that's where it is. It's the unconscious mind running the programs about, stress, about achieving, about success, about relationships, about anything that's causing you stress. That's what has to be dealt with. And, yeah. That's what I'm going to say. So it's a lot to think about. But my hope for you is that you will be intentional this year. And, you can go read any article on stress management. You can listen to this 18 times, about stress management. And the biggest thing is you have to take action. And if you do these things and you're intentional about them, you will be able to move through stress with ease. That's the intention of it. Stress is not going away. There's always going to be little mini tornadoes going around, and it's about moving through them with ease. That's the beauty and that's the gift. If you're not able to do that and you need support and accountability to do it, because knowledge is one thing, putting it into practice and living it, that's another thing. And so that's what I help people do. Because when you can do that, you can take yourself to the next level, personally, professionally, in your entire life, right? We want to make sure that we are, well, at least this is always my goal, is to be fulfilled in all areas of my life. I want to be the healthiest I can be. I want to have the best career I can have. I want to be as wealthy as I can be. I want to be as spiritually as, I don't know what the word is. I want to say high. That's not the right word. As spiritual as I can be. There we go. How's that? All those different areas of life. Like, I want to be as fulfilled as possible in those. And when I am stressed, I know that I am limited because my stress squeezes on me. And so having the tools that I have, being able to address my stress in the way that I can, that's what I love helping people do. So if you need help, we just need to have a conversation. That's it. And if you work for a company that is struggling with stress right now, like they're trying to do the, go at it the other ways of, oh, well, we just need to make people more engaged and we need to figure out why people are leaving. It's probably because of stress. get me in touch with whoever you need to get me in touch with. And let's have a conversation about this because I feel like I can help in so many different ways. All right, but that is it. That's our episode today of Winning in Business. I hope some of these tips have helped you so that you can continue to win in business. Next week, I will have a guest on. So come back, hear about how they are winning in business and their expertise. And if you like this episode, I encourage you to share, like, comment, subscribe, send it to somebody else who needs to hear it. And as always, I thank you for listening and I thank you for your support, and rise up and live. Thank you for being a part of the Winning in Business podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to rise up to your next level of success, but are worried about increased stress, time for work and yourself and your family, not to mention being exhausted, I'd like to invite you to a complimentary strategy call where I'll show you how you can do it all. I'll help you reclaim time, keep your sanity, handle the chaos with ease, and move to the next level of success that you deserve and desire. I hope you found value in listening today. Please always leave your comments, feedback, or questions. We check them all. I want you to continue winning in business and reach your next level of success. See you next time.